Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, I'm still out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We had what was supposed to be an epic fight, and it was a one-sided beatdown. Canelo, I was born ready, Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Very half-ass effort, and he just didn't put nothing together. Now, moving on, after that fight, there was a very good announcement for the world of boxing, and that was Canelo versus Triple G behind the scenes, pending the outcome of that, which, as I mentioned, was a one-sided beatdown. That determined if Canelo would advance and fight Golovkin, and he passed that test with flying colors. Chavez did nothing with him, and now they're saying Golovkin, that deal was done behind the scenes for September 16th. Very good fight for boxing, and now there's another issue, and I was always wondering what would happen. These quote-unquote Mexican dates, the Mexican Cinco de Mayo weekend and also Mexican Independence Day weekend, Canelo says these are important dates for my heritage, so he's been trying to, ever since Floyd retired, even though Floyd beat Canelo, he's saying, like, I want these, you know what I mean? I want these dates back, right? I'm a Mexican, and these are our dates, and so far he's been fighting on those dates, which is good. Canelo is the face of boxing. He is that, right? But Fight Hub TV, link in the description, they caught up, them and some other reporters caught up with Dana White post-fight Canelo Chavez Jr. Dana White, I seen him on his Instagram page. He was showing tickets. He got tickets from Oscar De La Hoya. They obviously have a good or decent relationship, unlike Dana White and Bob Arum. And he was at the fight. He enjoyed the fight, or enjoyed Canelo's performance. And I'm going to read some quotes from him. The link is in the description in case you want to watch it. But he's saying now that the Canelo Triple G fight has been done, that eliminates Conor McGregor facing a Floyd Mayweather because of the conflict of dates. Dana White says, and I quote, "We just lost our date to Canelo and Triple G, but good, that's a good fight. I'll be at that one too." So he says Floyd wants this fight and we want to try and make it, so we'll see what happens. Listen, Floyd is one of the best ever in the history of the game, and Conor is one of the best ever in the history of our game. So people want to see it, and I'm always into making fights that people want to see. He also says that Triple G is good for boxing. He says basically Triple G is a beast. He's good for boxing, but Canelo looked really sharp. So that's a great fight for the sport of boxing. And again, the link is in the description. So there you have it. Another obstacle for Floyd coming out of retirement to face Conor McGregor, because now it's the issue of September 16th. There's an HBO pay-per-view, and like I said, someone asked me this on a Monday mail day, which is a little bit of foreshadowing. So that whoever asked me that, very good question, and there's your answer. They're not going to. I mean, this is how I look at it. I personally believe, me Ego, I don't believe Dana White is really interested in making this fight. You know what I mean? I see more of that. The more of the hang up is on the UFC side, and rightfully so. As a business, he's saying, yeah, we like to make the big fights, and he's like, Floyd really wants to fight, and we try to make the fights that people want and stuff like that. But every time, if you look at all of the interviews regarding this fight, the Floyd side, Floyd is his own boss. We all know that, and Floyd is showing nothing but confidence in making it. He said, I'm my own boss. Conor McGregor, he had a lot to say. Let's fight. Let's make it happen. Get with your people. I'll get, you know what I mean? I'll get an offer presented to you. Easy work. But every time I see Dana White talk about the fight, and this is no shade to Conor McGregor, because every time I see him talk about the fight, he sounds like he wants it. Like, oh, we're training. And I seen his trainer was saying, like, they're just in the mindset that they're going to get the fight. So they're just working on their boxing and practicing, right? But every single interview, TMZ has a ton of them. You guys can Google. Simple Google search will reveal everything that I'm talking about. Every time I see Dana White and he's being asked about it, he's like, we're miles away from the fight, or no, we're not even close, or even before that, he was saying like there's no way the fight would happen. I believe it was TMZ had camera crew, and they asked Dana White, and he says the fight's not happening. He said something very cutthroat and like to the point, and he says there's a better chance of me. This was right. The reason I remember is because of the reference and the analogy he used. It was a week before the Super Bowl, so back in February or January. It might have been late January because of February's. The Super Bowl is the first week of February. But Dana White said something at the end of January or early February on that interview, and he says, tell you what, I'll put it like this. You have a better chance of seeing, in comparison to Floyd and Conor happening, you have a better chance of seeing me as a starting quarterback for the New England Patriots instead of Tom Brady. He said something very close to that. I'm paraphrasing. So to me, the UFC stands the most to lose. And you hear him in this interview, he just told you. He said Floyd wants to fight and we want to try and make it, so we'll see what happens, right? That doesn't sound too confident. We'll try. There's nothing to try. If Floyd wants it and Conor wants it, then what is there to try? Clearly Conor will make, depending, aside from whatever the UFC tries to take away from Conor for making this fight, Conor will stand to gain the most money he's ever made. So, you know what I mean? If the UFC, as long as they don't get him no Vaseline, then he'll probably be good with the deal that Floyd would offer because he'll make a lot of money. The only big hangup is how much of a cut does the UFC want, and I don't know that. You know what I mean? Only they know behind the scenes and stuff how much how much they're willing to risk in that fight, and how, as a result, how much do they want to take from Conor McGregor, who is assigned to their company, right? The other thing, Dana White, you got to understand and analyze what people are saying. He says, listen, Floyd is one of the best ever in the history of the game. He said that before. Things like, oh, he's one of the best to ever do it. That lets me know, and I know he knows. Floyd Mayweather has an interview where he was talking about Dana White. He knows him real well. And the Fertitta brothers, or Fertitta, or whatever their names are, they were the ones that were the real big bosses, and Dana White was a much smaller boss. In fact, he used to carry my bags, right? So they have history together, just being in Vegas, and before Dana White blew up even more, and the UFC blew up even more, they have experience and history. So Dana White even tells a story about, I think it was Roger Mayweather. You guys can Google all this stuff that I'm saying, right? And I like when people fact check me. It's fun because I know what I'm talking about, because I've heard this from the horse's mouth, from the source. But there's a story Dana White recants and tells about how Roger Mayweather, I believe it was Roger, it might have been Floyd Sr., but I'm pretty sure it was Roger. And Roger Mayweather, some guy was just hassling him, or they got into like a war of words in the gym, and the guy was a heavyweight, and he says Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather, dogged him and beat the shit out of him in a sparring session, right? Because they just, one thing led to another. So he knows the Mayweathers well, and he's seen firsthand how talented they are, and like, you know what I mean, they're a boxing family, things like that. So to me, like I've told you from the jump, the biggest obstacle is the UFC, because in essence, most people believe that they would be selling Conor McGregor's and his reputation in this fight, because a lot of people don't give him a shot. They don't give Conor McGregor a shot in boxing to beat Floyd. And I see a ton of comments like, oh, but in a street fight, oh, if this was no holds barred. But it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not a street fight. No one's talking about grappling Mayweather, or, you know what I mean? He's the A side, and we know that's not the case. He's not going to fight in the MMA. And rightfully so. Why would he? If he's proven more and he's been on top for longer than Conor McGregor has, he's undefeated, unlike Conor McGregor, who's lost not only in the UFC, but when he was fighting in Ireland, he got submitted, I think, twice, maybe more. And he has one loss to Nate Diaz, arguably two, if you thought he should have lost the rematch. But on paper, he has one, at least one, to Nate Diaz. I mean, why would it be under his rules? He has less. If you look at his net worth, and this is the thing, Conor McGregor has money. You know what I mean? Like the UFC fighters don't get paid as much, especially as the highest paid athlete in 2015, Floyd Mayweather. So it's really no comparison. Everything, no matter what you try to stack against him and try to give Conor McGregor leverage, as a business, he doesn't have that. There's no way, you know what I'm saying? The only thing you could say is more people like Conor McGregor, which wouldn't be factual. You could say more people like his personality or something, but Floyd does better numbers and has done numbers longer. Like, name one Conor McGregor event that was as successful as Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So whether people hate Floyd and they want to see him lose or whatever the situation is, they're still tuning in. And he still has those numbers, the big fight with Canelo, the big fight with Oscar De La Hoya, you know what I mean? And live gates, even his fights with like Maidana did good live gates, stuff like that. So to me, the biggest obstacle is the UFC. And now with Canelo Triple G done, I don't know if they can reassign another date for Conor McGregor versus Floyd. But some people want to see it, some people don't want to see it. But every time, like I said, every time I hear Dana White refer to this fight, it sounds like there's a if or maybe or we kind of want to. You know, it just never, I never hear anything conclusive. I never hear anything that's just straightforward, uncut, like Floyd wants to fight, Conor wants to fight, we're going to make it happen somehow, some way. You know, you never hear that type of reassurance. It's always like, oh, it won't happen, or we'll try our best. Dana White knows how to make a fight. I mean, he has put together some good cards. 2016 was a great year for the UFC. I mean, UFC 200, UFC 205, those are all like good cards, big cards. But the difference being is in those fights, like let's say Dominic Cruz and Cody Garbrandt, it doesn't matter if a long-standing champion like Cruz loses because they're both UFC fighters. So no matter what, the UFC wins because it's just like what Top Rank does. Top Rank puts together all these fights with in-house fighters. Manny Pacquiao versus Marquez, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fights with like Bradley, 1, 2, 3. And no matter who you mix and match, let's say they do Pacquiao versus Crawford, Terrence Crawford, a great fight fans want to see. If Pacquiao beats Crawford, then he's the man. He just derailed a undefeated guy who looked to be the goods, you know what I mean? And some people were saying he's pound for pound, very skilled. So that would be like a nice consolation prize to losing to Floyd Mayweather. You beat the next coming of Floyd. But if Terrence Crawford wins, Top Rank wins. Reason being, Terrence Crawford is signed to Top Rank. So you just did what Anthony Joshua did to Vladimir Klitschko, and you took the old lion out, and now it's like Highlander, you inherit his powers, right? But that's how these companies work, and that's how they win, because they keep it in-house. But again, UFC realizes that it would be an uphill battle to beat someone who Dana White says, and I quote, Floyd is one of the best ever in the history of the game. So despite I've heard Dana White bash Floyd, saying, oh, Floyd would get destroyed, him and his bodyguards, in a street fight. Despite all that, he knows what's up. He knows Floyd is talented, right? And to make the fight, that's not an in-house fight. If Floyd was with the UFC some kind of way, then the fight probably wouldn't be as hard to make, because no matter what, the UFC would be winning, like whether Floyd won or whether Conor won. But that's the biggest thing. Nobody wants to be, it's just like when Mayweather and Pacquiao fought. This was two networks, HBO and Showtime, coming together to make that fight. Nobody wants to be the network whose top level fighter loses a fight that's been built up for 5 years in Mayweather-Pacquiao. Mayweather was with Showtime, Pacquiao was with HBO. Neither network wanted to be the loser in that situation, because they come together for that one mega May-Pac fight, and then the winner, like let's say Pacquiao won, then that does wonders for HBO, because Pacquiao beat, let's say he knocked out Floyd. Now you know what I mean, you have the hometown fighter and he's on your network. So I mean, you would have Canelo, and you have Manny Pacquiao who just knocked out Floyd, that would be huge for HBO. But it didn't happen like that. Pacquiao got embarrassed, and Floyd was on the Showtime side of things. He once was with HBO, but at the later stage of his career, he's with Showtime. That benefits Showtime because now they have the A side, right? They have the big star. And that's how it is with this Conor McGregor. The only way it would benefit the UFC is if Conor McGregor did a lot better than people thought and or beat Floyd, which again would be the uphill battle when you're talking about a skilled fighter like Floyd Mayweather in boxing, trying to beat, you know what I mean? That's like trying to beat Mr. Miyagi, and he's highly skilled, trying to beat Ip Man. You know what I mean? You could try, but it's going to be hard to beat him in his own arena with his own, you know what I mean, with his own type of, you know what I mean? It's just like another good example for the MMA fans is Ronda Rousey. Part of Ronda Rousey's downfall to me in her 2 knockout back-to-back losses, we going back-to-back. Yeah, but part of the problem with her back-to-back losses is somewhere along the lines, her team, Edmund, or Ronda Rousey herself, they lost focus. They lost focus on what she does well. Ronda Rousey is great with judo. Get you on the ground, put you in an arm bar. That's what she went to the Olympics for. Not this stand-up, you know what I mean? She's not Van Damme, kickboxer, bloodsport. That's not her deal. So when you went in with Holly Holm, who's bigger than you, who has power, and has a boxing and kickboxing pedigree, it would be foolish, and for whatever reason, Ronda Rousey thought her stand-up was ill enough. It's foolish to go against her with the style of fight that benefits her, and you've seen the outcome in the Holly Holm fight. She got dominated and then kicked in the head and knocked out. Same thing with Amanda Nunes. We know what Amanda Nunes is good with. She's powerful, and she's a good striker from Brazil. So, I mean, most Brazilian fighters in the MMA, a lot of them have great ground games too, but her claim to fame is her power. You've seen the Miesha Tate fight with Amanda Nunes, right? She destroyed Miesha Tate's nose and her face in that fight. That's what her claim to fame is. But for whatever reason, Ronda Rousey, off the knockout loss and a long layoff, came in with this boxer type stance, like she's just premier striker. That's not what she's known for. So it's the same thing. I think Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Cormier 1 and 2, another example of this. Rumble got cracks, he got power. So why are you going in there with a strong wrestler and trying to have your back against the cage and trying to take him down and stuff? You should be trying to hit him with that smoke and knock him out. And I think that would be the same thing with Conor McGregor versus Mayweather. Mayweather, you would be trying to beat him at his own game, which is boxing. And that's hard to do. You know what I mean? Like I said, Rumble Johnson, that's like trying to out-wrestle Cormier. That doesn't make sense. And that's why he lost both of those fights and retired, because he didn't do what gave him the best chance of possibly beating Daniel Cormier. Why would you want to take him down and wrestle with him? Bad game plan. Why would Ronda Rousey want to try to outstrike Amanda Nunes or Holly Holm, a girl who's boxed as a boxer before the MMA and UFC? Doesn't make sense. So I think Dana White realizes that, and that's why this fight is hard to make. And now it looks like with Canelo Triple G, it looks like this is another opportunity to stall the fight and not make it. And I mean, I wouldn't go against, it would be stupid to go against Canelo Triple G. It's not that I don't think the Conor McGregor fight wouldn't do money. You know what I mean? I think that fight, just based on the circus and the star power of both, I think they both would have that. You know what I mean? And this is my honest opinion. I don't know. But Canelo and Triple G is a better fight for boxing, clearly, without a doubt. But based on the circus and the crossover hybrid, if they did compete on the same day, which would be stupid as a business decision, but hypothetically, we've seen like Top Rank hold cards and then Golden Boy had a card on the same night. But if they did, I really think the Conor McGregor-Floyd fight might even do better numbers. Floyd coming out of retirement and Conor McGregor's a showman, right? Even though the Canelo versus Golovkin fight is one that we all have wanted to see. and would probably be a better fight. You know what I mean? In terms of a boxing fight and a boxing match, I really think the commercial success would still be there, but it would be stupid to compete against another mega fight. I mean, why would you even do that and split your fans and force your fans, part the Red Sea, if you will, and force your fans to choose a side and pick on some blood and Crip stuff? That wouldn't make sense. But I really think, based on I'm not saying it's a better fight. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying or change my words. I'm not saying Conor McGregor and Floyd is a better fight. And I know people will probably hear that and be like, oh, you're full of it, man. No one would pay for that. Again, you guys can say whatever you want. I got the analytics to prove it. I've done videos about Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, and they all get views. You know what I'm saying? All get good views. And that's just what it is. Not saying the Canelo-GGG videos don't, but there's a market for it. So anyway, bottom line is it boils down to the UFC. I don't think they're trying to make the fight. And now that's another obstacle. So let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.